Dirty Sports, episode 745. We are live in 5, 4, 3. Welcome to the Dirty Sports Podcast. I am your host, Andy Ruther, coming to you live from Cincinnati, Ohio, with my co-host from Los Angeles, California, Joey No Chill Prano.
Good morning, Andy.
What's going on, man? What's new?
Yeah. What's new? Not a whole lot. Not a whole lot new. Getting ready to go to New York on the 20th. So, 5 days from now, New York, the 20th to the 1st. Just wrapping up some projects here in Los Angeles. Got some projects to wrap. Playing golf with Tug this afternoon. That's what's new.
Yeah, I saw he sent us a text today. I haven't responded about the block.
The block. I mean, we're not calling it the block. There's already the block, right?
It's a pretty awesome block.
It was insane. It was insane. It was an incredible block.
So,
but and listen, Tug's statement of it's more incredible than the block might be right. And listen, Odell Beckham's catch was more incredible than fucking Dwight Clark's catch, but Dwight Clark has the catch.
Well, Tug sent this. I'll just read his text.
Yeah.
Because these are his words. LeBron's block is better because of the timing, game 7, but Giannis's block is more ridiculous, more athletic against the dunk, and also saved a series. Giannis could do LeBron's block, but not the other way around.
And you go ahead and you can read my reply.
And you said, mostly agree, although I wouldn't put Giannis's block past a 26-year-old LeBron. And he said fair. And I'd probably agree with that as well.
I mean, you can, if you put LeBron block highlights into YouTube, LeBron has some insane blocks in his career. Now, Giannis, obviously, shot blocking is a big part of his game. He's an insane rim protector, but I don't put, a recovery block on a big man past. I don't put it. Bottom line, I don't put anything past a 26-year-old LeBron. Now we're 12 years removed or 11 years removed or whatever it is from, LeBron being in this athletic prime that Giannis is in. So we look at LeBron a different way now. And I would also argue Giannis could certainly, with his athleticism, pull off LeBron's block. But, the speed with which LeBron chased down guys and they've even done like sports science breakdowns on like the closing distance. Giannis is a little bit more lumbering. As great as Giannis is in the open court offensively and defensively, he is a little bit more lumbering than full speed freight train LeBron. But my point is, I don't put either block past either of them. They're both two of the freakiest athletes we've ever seen. And that being said, I agree with Tug. Like the actual physicality of Giannis's block is better than LeBron's, but LeBron's was in a bigger moment.
So there's a good breakdown. It's only a minute 20 I saw on the Ringer, which I like because it shows the slow-mo. It shows a few different angles of how Giannis did it, and Connaughton pointing to Giannis like, I'm not switching, man. And how he basically had to help defense, stop Devin Booker, and then also how he has to pivot in the angle, because if he doesn't do that, then the game's tied with under a minute. Yeah. And it really did save the game, or at least,
And that's the other thing. And, that's why I also agree with Tug. It's like, you could say, he said also saved a series, right? Tug said that. Now we have to also remember LeBron was down 3-1 in that series. So like save the series. If the Suns win that game, they go down 3-1. They're only in the position that the Cavs came back from. But I agree wholeheartedly with his sentiment that, like, just the recovery, the fact that it was on a big, the fact that it was on a dunk, the fact, like, it was an insane block. It's one of the great blocks we've ever seen, given the moment, in the playoffs, in the finals. Top two finals block.
I mean, they're a tough team, man. They don't go down. Milwaukee, they got grit in them, and they have that fighting spirit. And what?
It's like the review of a Western.
Well, they do.
They got that grit. They got that fighting spirit.
They don't go away, man. And
Wide Earp's got that grit, got that fighting spirit.
I think Phoenix has it too. I think the Suns have it too. But Milwaukee, I thought Phoenix was going to win this game. I thought they were going to pull it out, and just some bad. Chris Paul, he imploded. I'm not putting this on him. There's a lot of factors involved, but dude, you're the guy. You're the veteran. You're the experienced one. You can't be having those turnovers that he had.
Yeah. I mean, even if you limit, like, let's take Chris Paul's game, the overview out of it. Just the final turnover he had, the game sealing turnover. You didn't see that coming from the Chris Paul we've been watching all postseason. And I'm a Steph fan, but that was a Steph turnover. That was like a little too casual with the ball, little too, he's going around the bat. Like, it just felt, I was just so surprised it happened.
Yeah.
And just that turnover alone, not his best game. Listen, the guy's been insane. He's the only reason that they're there. They are not in the finals without Chris Paul.
Sure. But that is
have these games.
That's a Matthew Dellavedova 2015 Cavs turnover.
Yeah. But listen, remember, we're not going to do it with Chris Paul. We're not going to be like, he's a choker. He choked. They had the series. He blew it. We're not going to do that with him.
Well,
nor should we. Nor should we do it with anybody. In full playoffs and in full series, everybody's going to have a bad game.
Sure. Well, amongst, the great plays, there was just horrific officiating, and the conspiracy theorists, they're out in full force today.
I mean, it's hard not to be out in full force with the Booker foul.
They were out last night. It's a problem, man. It really is. The refs know. They know Devin Booker has 5 fouls. They know. And when he hugs Drew Holiday, gives him a bear hug, and they let it play. And they, to be honest, they were letting things play, but that was an egregious call that you have to make.
My only issue with the conspiracy theorists is I think that the only conspiracy is that the refs know he has 5 fouls, and the refs swallow their whistle out of fear, as opposed to some larger idea that we're not going to foul out their best player, because you want a 7-game series, right? So if you have the Bucks fighting back from 2-1 and they're down at that point, conspiracy would be foul out Devin Booker.
True.
Make it 2-2.
And also, let's go back to his 5th foul. His 5th foul was a ticky-tacky foul. Right. It was.
And that's the whole thing, is like, throughout the game, there's tons of opportunities to not call a foul on, stars. But then to not call it on he fouled him twice.
Yeah.
You could argue he fouled him like the whole way to the hoop.
Yeah. He was trying to foul him.
Yeah.
It's like Devin Booker forgot, I got 5 fouls. I'm fouling out. He was trying to foul him. And it was bad. There was a bunch of bad calls. They blatantly missed the out of bounds. I think it was campaign. And there was a few different plays. And I get it's not easy, but damn, you can't jack these calls up in the NBA finals.
Yeah. But NBA officiating is suspect at best. And, that's just sports these days.
Well, but why can't we, I tweeted this out and it was kind of a joke, but it's kind of not a joke. Why can't we just have automated or some sort of system for all these sports?
What does automated fouls look like? Everybody,
I don't know.
Body touch,
I don't
sensitivity, and if there's contact, it sets off a buzzer. Well, we're like laser tag uniforms.
I don't know.
I think we're always going to need a human element. I think the closest we have to, the closest that we're ever going to have to automation is balls and strikes, line of scrimmage, goal line. If we can judge when somebody crosses a finish line with a laser, we should be able to judge if somebody crosses a goal line with a laser or the line of scrimmage, or have a laser box for the strike zone. But judgment calls, blocker charge. How do you do that with a robot?
Well, I don't know. I'm just tossing it out there. But again, on that out of bounds play, why can't these guys have earpieces in? Why can't somebody real quick in New York go, dude, you got that play wrong. You can't have that in the final 5 minutes of the NBA finals. Because
that's where the human element, like, you need it, but then it brings in ego. It brings in people refusing to say they're wrong. That's why we need the human element, but we need I hate to do this because we have the argument about this on other episodes, but it's like cops, man. Cops don't want to police other cops. Like, cops get away with stuff because there's a union and we don't have to say anything, and the union's going to protect us, so we can be piece of shit cops. And if you say something, then we're going to fuck with you. And if you don't like it, take it up with the union, but then the union's going to run you. It's like with referees, they're all protecting each other. The league's protecting them. It's just a system where it's like there's ego and there's guys getting it wrong and refusal to admit that you're getting it wrong and people protecting each other. Well, if now we're calling out each other, then who stops them from calling me out and whatever? And it's just like what we need. The same way in our fucking police, we need like honest referees who are like, hey man, I got it wrong. We all get them wrong. Steve got it wrong. Rick got it wrong. Sometimes we get it wrong. I'm here to make sure Rick gets it right, and Rick's here to make sure I get it right. But no one does that.
But that's on the league, in my opinion. That's on.
And then we're talking about referees unions and
no, I know, I know, but my point is, doesn't the league, whether it doesn't matter the league or the sport, doesn't that particular league want to get it right? Because now you are under a microscope and the whole world is watching and social media is on fire. So when you blatantly miss a call,
the league wants to get it right. The problem is,
but I don't think they do.
No one wants to admit they got it wrong. For you to get it right in the first place, you have to admit you got it wrong, and no one wants to do that.
Hold these refs accountable. That's how you right the ship. Say, dude, you're wrong. You can't have this happen again. I don't know. It's.
That's why I identify as an Arab. All refs are bastards.
And I know it's not an easy job. You got canceled for saying that term, by the way.
Arab?
Cancel.
All refs are bastards.
I'm just saying. Somebody could clip that. Racial slur.
Dude, let's be honest. What am I getting canceled from?
Yeah. I don't worry about it. You can't. You like at this point.
In the words of my, one of my favorite artists of all time, if you ain't got nothing, you got nothing to lose.
Is that Hanson?
Hanson. Hanson.
I believe that was their follow. That was one of the lyrics. I was saying it was one of the lyrics of Umbop, right?
Yep.
Well, regardless, man, we got a 2-2 series, and Everybody's held home court, and guys have stepped up when they had to, as far as from both sides. It sucked. It really sucked that Booker has to basically sit the fourth quarter after going off for 20 points in the third quarter. Like, that sucked.
Well,
It just,
also, I mean, he was a defensive liability and was getting, they attacked him. He got into foul trouble. That's strategy, man.
yeah.
Honestly, the strategy from when you looked at game 3 and the way Giannis dominated when Ayton was off the floor, I'm surprised their strategy wasn't get Ayton in foul trouble any way we possibly can. Now, Booker ended up being the guy that it happened to, but like, that's a strategy, man. And that's, look, you talk about conspiracy theories going back decades in the NBA. I mean, we've all heard the conspiracy there. Magic Johnson's on camera saying the conspiracy. You can't touch Michael Jordan, and Michael Jordan can mug you and do whatever he wants to you. Michael Jordan can shove you out of the way for a game winner. There's always been these, we don't call these, we do call these. We don't call him for this guy, we do call him for this guy. And if you look at Booker, he didn't end up fouling out. They didn't call it late in the game. Maybe Monty Williams should have realized they're not going to foul him out, so don't sit him for the whole fourth quarter because they're never going to call a sixth. We've seen this with Draymond for a decade. He says, fuck, he gets his first technical. They're not giving him another technical if he murders a referee's child in cold blood at midcourt. He's just not getting ejected from the game. We've seen it a million times. And I swear that Draymond knows that. I swear Draymond gets one technical, so now he can say whatever he wants the rest of the game and never be kicked out. At least in the playoffs.
Sure. By the way, has Monty Williams ever put the mask on his face? Why does he have it?
No idea.
Have you noticed that? It's one of the things I've noticed. It is on his chin. This isn't like, my thing is like, dude, just don't wear it. It's fine. South Park calls it chin diapers. It's a chin diaper.
Yeah.
Have you ever seen it on his face?
Not that I can remember.
That's what I'm saying. Am I the only one noticing this?
No.
The whole game, I'm like, why? The whole playoffs, I'm saying, why do you have it on your face, dude? Like, what are you doing? Do you think his mask now is something like when Rip Hamilton didn't need the face shield, that he kept wearing it?
I mean, listen, I'm very superstitious when it comes to, we've heard all about I've talked about it on Dirty Slides for years. I had a sunflower seed regimen while I was coaching, so I wouldn't put it past him.
Yeah, no, I don't blame you. I mean, I to bring it back to third grade basketball, when I switched to the white mask, we never lost. So
I had this mustache since I moved out. Like when I was coaching baseball in New York, I had a beard forever, switched to the mustache at the end of my coach career there. We didn't lose again. We ended up upsetting, one of the great baseball teams in New York City in a state championship. I've had the mustache ever since.
So where does this series go now?
I mean, I hate to say.
You still think Suns?
I still think so. Listen, if I had chips to sprinkle, I would go probably heaviest on Suns in 6. I think Suns win at home, and then, I'll tell you what I like. I like Suns at home, Suns on the road more than I like Bucks on the road, Bucks at home. Like I like Suns in 6 better than I like Bucks in 6. So I would sprinkle, if I had to sprinkle, I would sprinkle a little bit heavier on Suns in 6. And then, I'd take 60% of my money or 50% of my money and I'd put it on Suns in 6. I'd take 25 and 25 and put it on both teams in 7. Because again, I think game 7, played on the moon, played in Madison Square Garden, played it on the Venice Beach basketball courts. It doesn't matter. It's a game 7. I don't think is the crowd a factor? Sure. But I don't think anything can fucking happen. Booker could go off, or Booker could go for over 40. Giannis could score 2 points, or Giannis could score 200. Like game sevens in the NBA, especially with these two teams, wild. So I still like Suns in 6, but I'm rooting for, I want this game 7. I'm rooting for home team. Let's go to a game 7. That's what I'm rooting for. I'm rooting for Suns in next game, Bucks in game 6. Let's play a game 7.
I want a game 7 at the Venice Beach courts since
Fuck
you just said that.
Yeah.
Dunking on homeless dudes.
I love it.
Landing with a heroin syringe, falling in some dude's arm.
They're cleaning up that boardwalk with bulldozers, Andy.
Bulldozers.
They're like literally, like if they're taking people's stuff, they're like boxing it up. They're putting it into storage or whatever for people. And if you don't get your stuff out by a certain time, they're just like throwing it in garbage trucks. Now it's supposedly happening in sections, and they're already like, oh, well, this section's not ready. They're pushing it back, but supposedly, I haven't been down there, but I've just heard. I've been talking to one of my old neighbors.
But again, okay, there is that salt. Like, to me, that doesn't sound like it would solve the problem.
So here's what is being explained to me: that the beach area, there's the boardwalk, then there's, whether it be grass, the basketball courts, the paddle tennis courts, everywhere along the beach, there's the boardwalk, and then there's usually something separating the boardwalk from the beach. Everything between the boardwalk and the beach is a park. It is illegal to spend the night in a park.
Okay.
So now they haven't enforced it since the 70s.
That's what I'm saying.
But apparently they're going, fuck it, we're going to enforce the rules. No more sleeping in parks.
But again, I'm not trying to be that guy, but I'm going to be that guy. Then where do all these people, like, to me, what are you doing? Like, what is the program to somehow help and alleviate the long-term problem?
I don't know, emoji.
I don't know either. That's why I'm asking. I don't have the answers, but if you gave me some of the money some of these people are earning to figure out the answers, I think the answers don't want to be figured out because it's a job, right? You can say that for a lot of jobs, right? Where you don't want to find a solution because you have a job. That's what gives you your job. Like LA we've talked about this. LA is the prime city. I bet most of the big cities are like this, where people justify their salaries or their jobs by taking meetings and fake staying busy. And you could probably say that for a lot of jobs. Like, fill your calendar. It makes me think of Office Space when they bring everybody in.
But also by not doing anything, you can't do anything wrong. So I think the big fear, you get fired when you fuck up. Sure. If you don't do anything, if you push paper from one pile to the other, if you fucking, if you just take your time and you just make it seem like you're busy or whatever, you stay under the radar. If you filibuster your life. Yeah. But when you go, hey, I'm all in on this, that didn't work, you're fired.
Yeah. So whatever. But game 5 is Saturday, correct?
Correct.
I feel like this finals.
They have spread it out.
Yeah, I was just going to say that. I feel like it's been really spread out.
And then they go Tuesday, right? Then they go Monday, Sunday, Monday off. They go Tuesday. And then they finally only get back to a every other day schedule for a game 7 between Tuesday and Thursday.
We're almost a football season.
Yeah. Great. Shorten the gap. We'll go NBA finals, MLB trading deadline, preseason football, basketball's back.
I mean, preseason
football, World Series. We got the Olympics squeezed in there. Let's go.
Yeah, the Olympics start, I think, next week. It's nonstop. We'll get back to a regular schedule. I usually enjoy just a little break, a little sports break, like as far as watching from NBA finals to football. I enjoy like a month off. Not really going to get that too much this year.
Nah, not with the Olympics.
No. What's your favorite Olympic sport to watch?
Swimming, no doubt about it.
Yeah, swimming's probably mine. Track and field's fun. Oh, gymnastics. I can watch gymnastics. Like Simon Biles. Is it Simon? Simone?
Simone. Simon. Simon Biles is when she decides she could beat the man.
Probably, dude, she's a badass.
Yeah.
She's 24. Can you imagine doing that shit? My niece is in gymnastics, man. The shit she can do at 9. She's ripped. Like ripped. And I'm like,
how old is she?
She's 9. I mean, serious gymnastics. This isn't like she's got to pass each. She does it 3 hours a week, 3 times a week. She's also the one who's like, get on this roller coaster, you pussy. Shouldn't say it like that, but
yeah.
I think my brother bought me a roller coaster t-shirt. He's really trying to push this agenda. Like now I have to wear a roller coaster t-shirt.
By the way, I almost sent you a video the other day. I came across a video of them demolishing one of the roller coasters at Kings Island. What was the old wood one?
Was it Son of Beast?
Yeah. The Beast, maybe? Maybe it was the original.
No, the original Beast is still there.
Okay.
Fun fact, longest wooden roller coaster in the world still. It's had that record for a long time. You don't want to go on that one, though. It's an old wooden roller coaster.
Shoots you around. It's like the Cyclone.
Yeah. That's one of those where should I consult a neurologist first, given the denting? What if I went on that roller coaster wearing a helmet?
Oh, I've got a helmet. I've got a helmet.
Sympathy points? No, I'm not getting any sympathy points doing that from any ladies.
From who? Oh, you're trying to pick up ladies at the amusement park by being the guy who wears a helmet, an adult in a helmet. I don't know if sympathy points is the points that you're getting.
Hey, Brandon, let me ask you something real quick before we go on to baseball.
Yeah.
Have you heard the phrase, we should get a beer when this is all over during the last year and a half of the pandemic?
Of course. There's been a lot of we should do this when it's all over. It's actually been a really fun thing to hear. Hey, we should hang out when it's all over. We should do this when it's all over. We should go to that. We didn't do any of that stuff before. The one thing that I feel like we can hold people to is we should have a beer when this is all over.
Yeah. Well, that's great because I got a great thing I'm going to introduce to all the listeners and a great program they can partake in for the whole we should grab a beer. So
is this from our good friends at Miller Lite?
This is our good friends at Miller Lite and the parent company. This might be news for some of our listeners. Molson Coors owns Miller Lite. So right now, Miller Lite, Coors Light, Blue Moon, Peroni, and Leinenkugel are teaming up to help you hold your friends accountable for the beers they said you'd get. So listen to this. Take a screenshot of a message from a friend saying you should get a beer when this is over and share it on social media with the hashtag time for that beer. Then head to the bar, upload your receipt for a beer from one of the brands that I just listed. Again, wow. Miller Lite, Coors Light, Blue Moon, Peroni, Leinenkugel, and go to timeforthatbeer.com/rebate. And that beer is on us, as in Molson Coors will pay for that beer. So you're basically holding your friends accountable for saying, hey, we should get a beer. And then you're getting
Molson Coors is going to pay for it.
Yeah.
It's great. I mean, I gotta say, Miller Lite and their parent company throughout, the the last year and a half been really good about trying to give you guys free beers, give us free beers. Like I can appreciate a company that's like, hey, we're going to find all kinds of different marketing plans to give you guys free stuff. It's usually we're going to find marketing plans to get you guys to buy stuff. No, they're going to give you free beers. Oh, go to this website and put in this long URL, get a free beer, get this. It's like, gotta love it.
Yeah.
What a great company.
So
it's making me thirsty. This ad reads making me thirsty.
So again, all you're doing is you're taking a screenshot of
Just
your friend.
Go to your text messages and search for when this is over.
Yeah. Or somebody talking about grabbing a beer, and I'm sure you have a bunch. And for more information, simply go to timeforthatbeer.com to get the beer you said you would get on us. So once again, it's timeforthatbeer.com. Remember to celebrate responsibly. Coors Brewing Company, Golden, Colorado. So take advantage of this. I mean, why not? It's a free beer.
Yeah.
It's a beer on them.
And make it a Miller Lite. Let's be honest.
Yeah.
Some of those other beers are delicious, but make it a Miller Lite.
They were last week in Milwaukee, Miller Lights are flowing. That's a beer city. It really is. You got to love it. It was good. That was my first time. We're talking about this for real. That was my first time
having a hankering.
No, I have a hankering a lot, but I try to squash it because we all know we can't go down that path again. But I think it was my first time. Like, I'm trying to think when last time I was like a bar, like bars like that in a long time. But I assume the bars they're popping right now in Los Angeles.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Bars are back, baby.
Have they kept the street? I really liked what LA did with that.
A lot of street stuff. Yeah. Is still there. I would say just about everywhere I've seen that opened up to the street still has it.
Okay, good. Because that was smart. The weather's too good to not do that.
And also I think that there's, some hesitation by a lot of folks of like, this really, are we done? I think the attitude is we're done, but there's always that lurking fear.
Sure. But I feel pretty comfortable personally. I gauge it by Trader Joe's people. Remember how I said, everybody was still wearing a mask?
Mm-hmm.
Now I go to Trader Joe's and I'm shocked when I see people with masks because I think it's changed. So that's good. I think we're doing pretty. God, I don't want to root or curse this. Knock on wood.
Yeah, come on, don't root or curse this.
Did you watch the All-Star game?
I watched most of it. Unfortunately, I missed Shohei Ohtani's first inning, but
so I watched a lot of it too. And I want to say,
before we even get to the All-Star game itself, did you watch the polar bear defend his title?
I did watch the Home Run Derby.
I mean,
I gotta say, was it just me or was that the longest Home Run Derby ever?
No, I felt like the new format. The format changes they keep making. I think it just makes it better. Like there was times where you would be like, this is brutal. I gotta say though, man, I know I'm a Mets fan and I'm a little biased, but I also feel like if he was on another team, I mean, the confidence, the head bopping, getting the crowd going, the "Are you not entertained?" Like he went out to the bars after with his chain on. He called himself the best power hitter in baseball. You gotta love the swag that the polar bear brings out there. I mean, he said not for a second did he think he was going to lose. His teammates were like, bro, you're the defending champ. You're a 5 seed. He's like, I'm going to hit the most home runs. Who cares what seed I am? You got to love that. I think this is going to mean a big second half for Alonso.
Yeah, he was
I think
mashing,
he's
man.
feeling himself.
He was in control the whole time.
Yeah. He said there wasn't a second he was going to lose. And also, I tweeted it, and I truly believe, I mean, he either just has the best like PR/social media guru on his side. Everything he does seems like it was created in a how to hype New York fans laboratory. It's like, oh, I put a little Mob Deep, a little Nas. Dude, bro, you're 24 years old or whatever it is. You're playing Nas. You love it.
Where's he from?
Florida boy. I mean, he went to Florida. I think he's from down in those parts, though.
Yeah, the home run derby was pretty good. The game,
born in Tampa, Florida.
Game just bores me.
All-Star game. It's an exhibition. It's a
the mic'd up players is, in my opinion, so cringeworthy.
Really?
Oh, I hate it.
What did you hate about it?
I think it's just awkward and uncomfortable. And I empathize with the players. You're batting and you got to be mic'd up. And then some of the players don't know you're mic'd up, like you're talking to yourself. It's just odd. And then when Aaron Judge got to first base, this was the first inning, so you probably missed that. Joe Buck was like, well, tell him, because Freddie Freeman was mic'd up. It's like, make sure, because I think Judge might have missed that, because the first few innings I was on the treadmill. So I was watching on my iPad, but I heard Joe Buck makes a reference like, well, let him know you're mic'd up. I don't know if he said something inappropriate, but I'm just like, that was cringeworthy for me saying, okay, Judge doesn't know he's mic'd up. And these guys,
to me, like, I love, that's what I love about exhibitions. That's what I love about is like giving you that access, but have a better method. First of all, pick guys that are going to be entertaining and mark them somehow, put a little microphone patch on their chest so guys know they're mic'd up. Tell everybody these guys are going to be mic'd up throughout the game. Just FYI, pregame, just be like, this guy and this guy and this guy's going to be mic'd. But I like the access, and I think it's, it's entertaining. But I agree with you that, like, they don't do a great job of it.
Well, exactly. You have Buck.
The idea that anybody goes out there, like, I didn't see that. You're right. That was in the first thing, but I didn't see that. But, like, the idea that somebody's mic'd and not every single player out there knows is ridiculous. It's not that hard.
Yeah. That's my jam right there.
Little trilogy.
That's a good kombucha, not kombucha. See, I've changed.
Yeah.
That's good. Yeah.
I gave you the sniff.
We'll get to that in the calls. How am I doing so far, by the way?
I haven't noticed it.
I'll play it later in the calls. Somebody said I sniff too much, and I think this is a newer thing.
And then you asked me, and I was like, yeah, absolutely.
So I want to correct that. I want to make that adjustment. Batters need to make adjustments. Podcasters need to make adjustments. Apparently, I'm sniffing too much when I talk. It's because I'm in an igloo of a basement. Basement is so cold. So maybe that just gets the sinuses going. Anyway, I don't like the mic'd up personally. I agree with you. You got to get better players at times. Like Tatis was fine, but like Freeman, I'm just like, okay, like this guy's just such a, he's just a normal dude. Yeah. And then I feel then the players have pressure. Also, dude, they got guys mic'd up while they're batting.
Yeah, that's ridiculous. And also, like,
guys throwing a 98-mile-an-hour cutter, and then Buck saying something along the lines, "Oh, how was that pitch? I just swung and missed. What do you think?"
And that's another one where I think, like, pick the right guys. Pick guys who are down for it. Pick guys who, like, I don't give a fuck who's in my ear.
What do you expect in the second half? There's been some big surprises. Can the Giants, who have the best record in baseball, no one saw this coming, can they keep that?
I think that they can. My fear with the Giants is that I don't think they're built for the postseason. And Gaussman's been great, but like I don't think that they're built for the postseason. But at the same time, they're leading two teams that are considered real
Favorites.
contenders in baseball.
Yeah.
I think that the Giants. Listen, do the Giants? If you put a gun to my head right now and said, "Do the Giants win the NL West?" I would say no. But I wouldn't be shocked if they do. And I think that the Giants are still a playoff team. But I just don't think the Giants are built for the postseason. I think that they're going to have a hard time in the postseason. I mean, otherwise, there's certainly been some surprises, but there's, your Central has been surprising in that St. Louis is 8 games back, 2 games under 500, and in 4th place. I think a lot of people probably would have had them as a favorite.
But they always make a push, man.
They always
swear.
But still, that's been the shocker for there. The NL East, I don't think there's a whole lot of shock. I mean, I think the Mets have been, the Mets pitching's been better than people thought. Obviously, tons of injuries. I think the shocker for the Mets is that they're doing it despite the fact that literally the whole team's been hurt the whole year. But like, is it a shocker that Philly's kind of been disappointing? No. Is it a shocker that Washington has been disappointing? No. Like, those are 2 teams I feel like, thrive in being kind of disappointing from year to year. Atlanta has been right there and seemingly feeling like they're going to break out the whole year, but never did. And now they lose Acuna. Like, I don't see them making a push without him. Houston's been surprising in the AL West that they've been so good, but I think everybody considered it to be a Houston-Oakland division, and that's what it's turning out to be. I have the Chicago White Sox as a preseason World Series pick with the Mets, so certainly not a shock to me that they're running away with the Central, 8 games up on Cleveland. Everybody else is in 15 or worse. And then, as the Yankees being in 4th is surprising, but it's not that surprising. I said on Dirty Slides, look out for the Red Sox. Every time you think that they're not going to have a good year, they do. Tampa, I'm surprised that Tampa is, I saw the potential of a Tampa, relapse after, making the World Series push, but they're right there. And Toronto, Toronto's 8 games back, but not surprising with all of the young stars and more importantly, the sons of stars, which I like. Toronto, I mean, what a remarkably smart strategy. Let's only get guys who are sons of big leaguers.
It's like they were built in a lab.
Pat Mahomes, Steph Curry, Ken Griffey Jr. Like, we've seen this for years. Like this is a good strategy. Like, draft guys who are the sons of big leaguers.
Yeah.
The entire Boone clan.
Are they still playing in Buffalo?
Yeah.
What is going on in Canada, man? Dude, it's nuts. My buddy's from Canada, one of my best buddies, and his parents finally were able to visit. And he's from Toronto. He actually went to school. He went to high school with Joey Votto. Small world. So we're 2 years older than Votto. Anyway, by the way, real quick on that, and then I'll tell you the wild Canadian stuff. I think I said this last episode, right? How he kept signing autographs. It just makes me like him even more because his contract, Reds fans always get heated about his contract. And I agree, it's not the best money, but I always say, dude, he's good for that team. He's a good leader. He's a good personality in the clubhouse. I think he's a smart guy. He's just good for the team and for the fan base. But anyway, my buddy's parents came to visit him, and he said they had to get it. What did he tell me over the phone the other day? He goes, so they have to show that they're COVID negative before they get on the flight, which fine. I don't have a problem with that. But he says when they land in Toronto, they get retested.
Yeah.
And he's like, this is all coming out of their own money. So he's saying they're showing up to the airport, showing that they're COVID negative. And on the 3-hour flight from St. Louis to Toronto, they somehow got COVID and they have to get retested in the airport in Canada.
Well, I mean, it's not wild to think you're stuck on an airplane and you got COVID. That's not wild.
But it's going to show up that quickly even?
I don't know. It's all kind of ludicrous bureaucracy, but the world's a wild place these days.
Yeah, man. I was thinking about getting that passport updated, son.
What do you mean? Is your passport expired?
Yeah, it's way expired.
Bro.
I know.
That's reckless. That's just reckless. What if you need to escape this godforsaken country in a pinch?
I got to update it. And I have a feeling that's way backlogged like everything else. Everything's just
do everything online, do everything in the mail, send them your pics, like whatever. No one goes anywhere into the office anymore.
State of California.
Rolling.
Dude, the state of California sent me. I mean, this shows how backlogged everything is with the bureaucracy. The state of California sent me to my Ohio address. So think about all this, that I am way overdue on my tags, and that if I don't pay, my car will be impounded on California tags and California license plate that literally no longer exists. Think about that.
So when you got Ohio tags for your car, you registered your car in Ohio.
Correct.
What'd they do with your California plates?
I get to keep them. But they just don't exist anymore, right? Yeah. So like those
is it a thing where you were supposed to have sent your tags, your plates to California?
No. I assume the DMV in Ohio is making a note. They are that this plate just doesn't exist anymore. But I'm laughing, thinking the state of California is threatening, if you don't pay these tags, which was up to like $500, we will impound your car. And I'm laughing to myself thinking, these tags don't exist. And then I had this wild, crazy idea of putting my license plates on a random dude's car. And then, I mean, I created this whole story.
That's why my question was like, are you supposed to turn in your plates? Which is possible because you're not supposed to like give them to another car and be like, here, bro, you can use these on your stolen car to drive across the country.
Oh yeah. I had a lot of crazy ideas about somebody getting arrested, but my imagination went wild with it. But my point is, no, I've done this before. Like I still have my Nevada plates. You don't turn in your plates. That's not a thing.
I have no idea.
I just thought it was so ridiculous and so funny. I don't even know what we were talking about. What the hell were we talking about? Were we talking baseball?
We were done with baseball. You were asking me the question, my thoughts on the second half. I'm excited. I think this baseball season has been great. I think it will continue to be great. I am like, you got to love the excitement that we're going to see out of the NL West down the stretch.
Such a good division.
The NL East, can the Mets hold up despite the injury stuff? I mean, Milwaukee, I know your Reds have come on strong, and Chicago's now 8 games back. It's like, I just don't know that you guys have the juice to catch the Brewers.
I disagree. Chicago's going to be sellers.
Right.
They've already decided. The Reds are buyers. Right. So the Reds have 3 games to start off starting tomorrow with Milwaukee. I'm hoping they can take 2. Milwaukee has no bats. Milwaukee's pitching is great. They have no bats. I think the Reds are going to be able to compete if their pitching can hold up. The Reds obviously do have bats, but their pitching has been,
right,
as the kids say, sus all year.
I'll take good pitching over good hitting all day, especially in a league where good hitting now means hitting like 260.
True. Well, I was looking at the schedule.
I think the AL West will be fun to watch down the stretch. I'm hoping, Oakland can make a push, but like having Oakland and Houston in a playoff situation is fun. Chicago, I don't think anybody's catching Chicago. And then I think the NL West and the AL East are going to be the fun divisions, down the stretch.
Yeah.
And let's just hope my Metsies can hang on.
Well, I should just go to more games. The Reds are 4-2. So they're winning 66% of the games that Andy Ruther goes to. So I should go to more games. I was looking.
My manager just sent me a text message of a screenshot, by the way, from California DMV, Chapter 12, non-resident vehicles. The owner must return them to the motor vehicle department of the state where they were issued.
The license plates?
Yeah.
F that. I checked the box because they did have an option on that. Have you moved? And I just checked that box. I've never heard of that ever. She's high.
That's what I thought.
I'm kidding.
Screenshot of the DMV website.
It was photoshopped. So I was looking.
Pics or it didn't happen. Well, here's the pics.
Not trusting it. Dude, in this weird era of 2021, you can literally be presented a factual thing like that and just say, oh, it's bullshit.
Fake news.
Pittsburgh's only 4.5 hours. PNC Park's 4.5 hours away from me, Joe. It's that close.
Yeah.
I think I might have to that's the last park in the Central I haven't been to.
Yeah. And I've heard it's up there with the best ballparks in the league.
So I was looking.
I've had my eyes on trying to do a Pittsburgh run myself.
Because it's kind of out there. It's
go this week. Go see DeGrom.
No, I'm going to go
for a Red series.
Yeah, I'm going to go. They got like a day September game. And I was looking, I thought with 4.5, I had no clue it was that close. And I'm thinking it's under 3.
How did you not know it was that close? You've lived in Cincinnati the majority of your life.
It's about the same distance. It is. It's the same distance for me to go to Cleveland. It is to go to Pittsburgh. And that's wild to me. How did I not know this? Because you never heard people from Cincinnati saying, I'm going to Pittsburgh, which is crazy. But now I felt like my world has been opened and I'd like to go.
I'm actually kind of shocked that you haven't been. First of all, have you never been to Pittsburgh?
Never been to Pittsburgh.
That's weird.
It is weird. Ever. And it's you basically go through like Podunk, Eastern Ohio.
I did on the way to your place.
Yeah, I've never been to Pittsburgh.
That's crazy.
So I saw a September day game, middle of the week, and I'm thinking, go for maybe 2 nights, get there. I think it's like a Tuesday night, go to the Wednesday day game, maybe come back after the game, or stay another night. Anything is possible.
I kind of like Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh's it's not a city I want to spend like a ton of time in, but I like it. It's fun. They drink there. They got their sandwiches, their famous sandwiches.
What's that sandwich again?
It's Permani Brothers. Soft bread, put the fries on it, coleslaw. It's good. I like it.
Dude, these towns, the Pittsburghs, the Cincinnatis, the Milwaukee, they just love heart attack food.
Yeah.
Everyone is so gross. I shouldn't say everyone. Don't want to do that. There was a lot of lovely people at the beach in Milwaukee and Lake Michigan, but I mean, come on. A lot of fat people. Just saying. I felt pretty good. I'm not going to lie. Took off my shirt in the middle of the Brewers game. I didn't
took off your shirt at the ballpark.
No, I'm kidding.
I was like, Jesus Christ, you're taking fucking Sons and Four guy to the next level.
Dude, Sons and Four guy has a bobblehead.
It's ridiculous.
Think about that. He beat up somebody and now he has a bobblehead. That's unbelievable. Did you see the Stephen A thing?
Listen, I have so many fucking issues with ESPN and the woke stuff, but then also like I'm the kind of person that's like, hey, it's like better safe than sorry these days. I mean, we all agreed that Rachel Nichols did nothing wrong, and then basically she loses her gigs over it. Meanwhile, Stephen A. Smith just comes with hot racism and now is going to never fucking lose his job or pay any price for it whatsoever, and still going to be the highest paid employee at ESPN. It's so fucking ludicrous. And it's such bullshit. It's like you guys set this standard for yourself. And now fucking Stephen A. Smith, Rachel Nichols is just saying like, don't like go overboard on the diversity thing and I lose my job over it. And Stephen A. Smith is just going to come with fucking speak English or get the fuck out. And he's going to keep his job. It's so stupid. Stephen A. Smith is such a trash bag. And ESPN is such a trash network that he's been there this long before any of this stuff.
Okay. I'm gonna take a completely different take, like a wild take, because I've been harping on this with ESPN. Like, dude, how much of this you think is concocted? Am I crazy to think a producer said, "Yo, dude, say some kind of fucked up shit about him not speaking English and the face of Major League Baseball"? Then we'll get viewers.
No, I think Stephen A. Smith just sits literally at home every morning and goes like, what's my hot take today? And because if you look at the history, even Stephen A. Smith on Ohtani, it was a week before he said he should speak instead. He was saying Major League Baseball isn't doing a good enough job marketing a modern day Babe Ruth. Like, he is the kind of person where he will eat his own opinions alive because every morning he wakes up and goes, I need a hot take. And then he forgets that 2 weeks ago, his hot take was this. He is it is embarrassing that Stephen A. Smith is still a person that we know of. Like, he should have been so long gone, so long ago. When I do an impression of Stephen A. Smith on this show, it's a toned down version of Stephen A. Smith. He's so bad. He's so loud. People who defend him are fucking clowns. If you enjoy Stephen A. Smith content, you're a joke and a loser. He's the worst. He's the worst. We are fucking 3-4 years removed from him not knowing who's playing in football games.
Wait a second. You're telling me Stephen A. Smith hasn't actually been on this show? I thought he's been on this show for the last 7.5 years.
It's ridiculous.
Impersonator.
I hate Stephen A. Smith so much. And it's insane that he's not getting punished for this at all. First of all, easiest out in ESPN history. You're overpaying this guy. There's no way he draws his money's worth. Fire him with cause.
I just think that I am. I know we keep talking about this, and there might be some people saying, "Oh, shut up, stop bringing this up." But I am, from a business perspective, I am fascinated by ESPN right now. I'm fascinated and I'm intrigued because I think they just don't know what to do, and I think some of these other outlets have developed personalities.
I'd rather watch fucking Kenny Mayne read The Great Gatsby in the dark than watch Stephen A. Smith give his opinion about sports. And he's probably making 15 times what Kenny Mayne was making. But they got to let Mayne go for money, but they're going to let Stephen A. Smith in. This is ridiculous. Major League Baseball doesn't know how to market Shohei Ohtani. He is a combination of Babe Ruth and Godzilla. Is that racist? I don't know. Turn him into a giant dragon. Give him a bat. Give him a glove. Let him stomp all over New York City. Have him fight King Kong. But he can't do it. He can't be the face of baseball because he can't speak English. What are you doing here? Why even move here if you can't speak English? It's so fucking offensive that was his take. Bro, you barely speak English. You're from America. You barely speak English. You have a journalism degree. You speak broken English. And you're pissed off Shohei Ohtani hasn't fucking mastered a second language in 2 years?
Well, look, what's interesting to me is on all this, like Ichiro was a huge star and he didn't speak any English.
So fucking stupid.
So, I think, I just think to me, he's not addressing the bigger issue of I just think baseball doesn't know how to market a lot of their stars. And now they seem to be smartly doing this with like Tatis. Him being mic'd up was smart, and he's got a good personality. There are some guys. Trout just isn't the most interesting guy, and that's fine. Obviously, he's a great ball player. By the way, I just looked up his salary. I had no clue.
$14 million.
So he gets $8 million a year, the personality basically deal. He gets another $4 million a year production. So I guess producer stuff. So Stephen A is making $12 million a year.
It's so stupid. I don't know anybody alive who enjoys Stephen A. Smith.
But that's not what they're going for. This is what I think they're going for.
Clicks.
Yeah, it's clicks, and it's also
so have somebody go on fucking First Take and take a dump on the fucking. You know what else draws viewers? A golfer with an arm growing out of his ass. Like, what are we talking about?
I think he's such a caricature now that it's not that he's likable, it's that he's comedic fodder, if that makes sense. People like me. See, like you're like we have different perspectives of him. Like you're getting worked up because you can't stand him. Where when I watch his stuff, I laugh.
But I get worked up again, we talk about the hypocrisy.
Sure.
Rachel Nichols lost her job for saying, I'm a woman. You have treated me like shit for being a woman. How dare you need to take somebody's job for the sake of diversity and take it for a woman? And I'm a person who hates Rachel Nichols, and I'm glad that she's not doing any shit. But it's insane that she's going to get punished for that. And Stephen A. Smith's going to come out there and scream, you're in America, speak English, and still collect $12 million.
Look, I'm not disagreeing with you. I'm not disagreeing with you or your take that it's hypocrisy, because it is. I fully agree. But do you see my point, Joe? I think a lot of people are like me. When I see him trending, I'll click on the video and I will actually laugh. I will laugh out loud to myself at how ridiculous. When I see a take like Donovan Mitchell is already the greatest Utah Jazz player, I laugh. I laugh at the absurdity. And again, we keep talking about it, and that's probably
so like, it's so stupid, because if that's what they're going for, then why don't we just do it? Like, why don't we just why does it have to be Stephen A. Smith with why don't they just go all in? Why don't you go all in and just be like, hey, we're going to have Logan Paul be on First Take, and he'll say Joe Ingles is the greatest Jazz player of all time. Why don't we have Addison Rae twerk while saying this Utah Jazz team is the best team in NBA history? So now the thing is, we're going to be an over the top, clearly pandering for clicks thing. Why Stephen A. Smith? Why don't there's Stephen A. Smith? How about Steve Buscemi? Have Steve Buscemi on.
Well, I think, look, Stephen A.
What makes Stephen A. Smith qualified? He's not a former athlete.
He's got a massive following. I mean, look, the ratings aren't there as far as the television ratings.
You know who else has massive following? The Kardashians. Give them $12 million to come on and talk sports nonsense. They're just as qualified. They could probably remember who the starting tight end of the fucking Chargers is.
That's preposterous.
I just don't think the Kansas City Chiefs could beat this Bucs team. I just don't think Steve Bono can beat Vinny Testaverde in a Super Bowl. The guy, Steven, those guys both retired 25 years ago. You know what I mean. I do UFC. I do racist baseball. I do basketball. I'm expected to remember who's starting at quarterback for the 2 Super Bowl teams. When you work as much as I do, I defy anybody to remember who starts at quarterback for the 2 teams in the Super Bowl. What a huge jackass. It's an embarrassment that he's still on the air at ESPN.
Well, like I said, I think the executives or the powers that be, this is just from my vantage point.
You know, there's a TikTok fucking channel where a dog hits a beach ball into garbage cans and picks games. Put him on. Gets millions of views. Put him on. Make it a segment on the fucking show. Who's going to win game fucking 6 of the NBA Finals? We're going to have a dog knock a beach ball into 2 garbage cans. I trust it more than I trust Stephen A. Smith's opinion. Giannis Antetokounmpo? You can't be the face of the NBA with that many letters in your last name.
I've noticed they are saying his last name a lot more on the broadcast.
They finally figured it out.
Antetokounmpo? Look at me. What did Goldberg call him that one time?
Giannis.
Dude, he is a freak, man. I mean, that nickname, you talk about somebody who, like, if you look at like all-time earned nicknames, Air Jordan, the freak, that guy, total freak. One last baseball note. If Oakland can't figure out a deal, they're saying Vegas is a real possibility. We're talking about another team ditching Oakland for Las Vegas.
Good. Fuck Oakland. And I think the A's should be in Oakland forever. And Oakland has lost their basketball team and their football team. But fuck you guys. Every other city fucking figures out. You telling me you go to we're not talking about the Giants and the Jets moving from New York City to New Jersey because Manhattan is fully developed and there ain't no place to put them. We're talking about dumpster fire Oakland, which is already going through a massive gentrification.
It's improving.
The idea to not have any sports teams there, especially the A's, is so fucking stupid. Build them a waterfront ballpark. You have tech money. And if you're the owner of the A's and you don't want to pay for and by the way, I believe owners should fucking pay for these things.
I do too.
If you don't want to pay for it, sell it to some tech giant who will fucking pay for it.
And look, I could be wrong in this, but I'm just guessing. You're going to get your return on investment. These franchises are worth so many billions, all of them. And you are in a prime area with billionaires. You're right next to Silicon Valley.
But Oakland has been penny pinching for
forever.
20 years. Still competitive. It's ridiculous. And baseball keeps people out. You don't think Mark Cuban will take the A's tomorrow? They keep people out of the little boys club for what? So you can lose a team to Vegas? And we get another indoor stadium because of the heat. Put a fucking waterfront ballpark in Oakland.
Crazy, man. When I lived there was no teams. The big hope my 2 years there was that Miami was going to move. Then there were still Florida Marlins. That was the big hope. Oh, we're gonna go after the Florida Marlins. That's going to be.
And I'm
our
not against
first team.
Vegas having teams.
Yeah. Now here that we're talking about a possible third team. I think they'll eventually get an NBA team as well. It's just the city's growing too much, and there's room, right? There's any spot you want to put in the middle of the desert. Just throw a stadium there, slap a dome on it.
But the problem is, Andy Ruther, we're going to put it. What is Las? I don't know that word. Las? Las? What is Las? Los Angeles? Las Vegas? Sounds like Spanish to me, Andy Ruther. You can't have a team in a city that's not in English. Come on. How about Lost Vegas? Lost is a word that I know. I went to journalism school. LAS? Can you play that in Scrabble? I don't think so. You can't speak English. You can't have a ball club.
$12 million right there.
I'm sick of it. San Francisco? How about St. Francis? You just going to be a Spanish city? Come on. El Paso? How about the Pass? Don't come here if you can't speak English.
I would love to hear Stephen A's take on this whole Richard Sherman stuff. It's crazy, man.
Richard Sherman's a black man in America. He can do whatever he wants.
It's pretty sad, man. I think. Have you read into this?
Yeah. I didn't listen to the 911 call. I heard it's pretty cringy.
Oh, it's tough, man. Because it's someone who clearly is having a breakdown, and obviously he plays a violent sport.
Welcome to This Week in CTE.
I know.
I'm your host, OJ Simpson.
So he was arrested. He was booked for burglary, domestic violence. He was trying to break in the house of his in-laws. But he's also being investigated for a hit and run and a DUI. And then in the 911 call, which I listened to, his wife is saying he's threatening to kill himself. He was fighting her uncle, and he was threatening to kill himself, to hang himself. And she said he drank 2 bottles of liquor. And obviously, we haven't seen this from Richard Sherman before. He's never had any problems off the field. So it does make you wonder. You hate to just go CTE, but he's in a violent sport.
Well, also, he drank 2 bottles of liquor.
Yeah. But but again, some of these brain things cause you to drink 2 bottles of liquor and then drive. His car was beat up to hell. He was just driving through a construction zone, hitting shit.
Yeah.
Those all point to something's not right in his head.
Well, again, it all points to he's had his 2 bottles of liquor in him. But what causes that? Who fucking knows? Is he currently on a team?
No.
So there's that.
I mean, again, we're talking about a guy who's doing a weekly podcast with Chris Collinsworth. It's not like he's completely out of it.
The Collinsworth curse strikes again.
What else did he curse?
Well, Al Michaels getting DUIs. Richard Sherman getting DUIs. Has anybody spent significant time with Chris Collinsworth that hasn't been driven to drink and drive all over the country?
Man, the ghost of Walt Ruther is ready to chime in on this.
You're a big Collinsworth fan. They had to pull you off a fire hydrant when you were DUI.
True. I made a lot of reckless decisions. This is actually an interesting rabbit hole.
Walt Ruther is like a Chris Collinsworth stan, right?
Yeah.
How many of Walt's 5 sons have DUIs?
No comment. I don't think as many as you think. And I technically do not have a DUI. Did I run over a fire hydrant and leave the scene of a crime? Yes. Am I currently within 1.5 miles of that fire hydrant and I go by it every day? I might frame it. I actually found the payment from the county, from the insurance company that paid the county for that fire hydrant. That's one of the things my dad kept. Crazy. Like I'm going, like the crazy part is you find wild stuff, when you go through your deceased parents, and it's crazy to think some of the things they kept. So in this little box, I recently found some cool stuff, like my dad's Vietnam Met draft card. Like that's a cool thing to have. in that same box was the final payment that my insurance company made to Hamilton County for that fire hydrant. I'm like, wait, these things are important to you, Dad? You know, I could have owned that.
They're all things he wants to get Chris Collinsworth to sign.
You know, I could have owned that.
That's hilarious.
Wish I could have. Okay, so we have a lot of good calls today.
Great.
I want to applaud the Dirtballs real quick for stepping it up. I think you guys have left some interesting calls, and I get dinged a lot for saying that I'm like too negative about the calls, but hey, maybe I am. But I want to be a good cop today and say you guys have been leaving good calls and interesting calls. So let's hear from, by the way, 310-359-8365. Let's start off with a response about Costco. I know you were curious about that, Joe. So we have a response defending the Costco gas lines.
Okay.
What's up, fellas? This is Jew Boy, the number one married with 2 children and a third on the way, Dirtball. So I wanted to call in and talk about Costco Gasoline. I fucking love it. You know, in my area, I'm in Northern California, Bay Area. The Costco gas difference between Costco, the price difference between Costco and your local fucking shithole gas station is about 60 to 80 cent difference. So 2 vehicles, one Honda Civic, second one is an SUV. If I'm in the Civic, I'll go to any other place, right? Like you were saying, 10 gallons to fill it up, you know, save $5. Well, when you're filling up that SUV, they're saving at least $10. And if you just, you know, like you time it, you know when you're going to run out of gas, you're going somewhere far, you got a half a tank, you know, 3/4 of a tank, you time it right. $10, you know, shit adds up if you're filling up once a week. Costco's only a 5-minute drive for me. Andy, sounds like you fucking, if you have to hop on the freeway and go to another town to go to Costco, maybe it's not a good idea. But also, if you're an adult and you get gas at a place that has like 2 pumps, and the reason why most people go there is to get swishers, gotta grow up, man. Be an adult. Take care of your vehicles. Later.
Real quick, he left a quick follow-up. I forgot what else he said, but he wanted to add something that I want to play.
Sorry, biggest fucking number one case of all to go to Costco. I forgot. There's no fucking bums bothering you at the Costco gas station asking you for money. Case closed.
Okay, that's a fair point. Now that's more of a big city problem, something that we've had to deal with in Los Angeles. Somebody harassing you, you don't have to deal with. But I would also argue that's a minor problem.
I mean, we didn't
I get his point.
He didn't address the main issue though, which is no one, like if you have a Costco membership and Costco's cheaper, you go. But the problem is you wait in this fucking line.
Yeah.
The $10 thing is like, I get it, but time is money. What is the amount of cars that you will drive by and say, I don't care, that's going to save me $10. I'm not waiting in a fucking line for that.
Yeah. Again, like you got 2 kids, you got a third on the way. It can definitely add up, especially if you have an SUV. Now that's huge. 60, 80 cents is definitely huge. Now I did experiment this week. I went to Costco on Tuesday and I compared it to the local gas station that I go down the street. It was 33 cents difference.
Mm-hmm.
But for me, the Costco that I go to, which is in Florence, Kentucky, Northern Kentucky, there's never a line. Right. So I went with my sister-in-law and my nephew, and she actually drove. So I didn't get gas that day, but she filled up. She's got an SUV. Again, there was no line, not a single line. Like we pulled right up after we shopped. So it's not an issue. And she's saving money. Now, someone else DM'd me. So I'll throw this out there. Somebody said, well, dude, I got the Costco Citibank gas card. I get 4% back. So that's another. He's like, dude, that adds. If I go to Costco all year and I'm getting 4% back on all my gas purchases and I'm spending, this many thousands of dollars in gas a year, 4% does add up. So there is that. Or I'm an executive member, humble brag at Costco, which means I pay $120 a year for my membership, which is double. And I get 2% back on all my purchases up to $1,000. That would be another advantage. I'm getting the gas money back. But you are right. He didn't address the time as money.
I'm not against going out of my way
Sure.
to a Costco to get cheaper gas. I'm against waiting in an hour line to save $5.
Sure. And I would agree, which brings us to another great call from CT. What would you wait in line for? Let's hear his call.
Gentlemen, CT formerly from Seattle, lifelong Seattle Kraken fan with the NHL draft coming up. I need to learn about hockey. My question is today, listening to the episode about and the call about Costco gas, I am definitely not waiting in line for fucking Costco gas. It'll benefit of also being the official rental car DirtBall. I have a gas card. Humble brag. So I can fill up anywhere and not pay for it. I haven't paid for gas in a goddamn year. It's been great. But to get down to my question is, I hate waiting in line. I have not done a lot of things because I didn't want to wait in the line. I'm trying to think exactly what I would want to wait in line. Like, what would be the one thing that I'm going to wait in line? You know, I'm just thinking, beer at a sporting game, I'm going to wait in line for a beer. I don't like it, but I'll do it. Maybe like a really good slice of pizza at like a pizza place. Like if it's the best pizza in town, I'll wait in line for that. Ruther, I know you're waiting in line for roller coasters, but what would be like the one thing that you wait in line for like 3 hours?
Ooh.
CT out. Go crack it.
I think it's a great question because we're all in the same age wheelhouse. At our age, what do you like? It's basically very minimal for me.
I can't think of a single thing. And this has been a through line throughout my life. Never waited to go in line to go into bars. Never waited in line to go into clubs. Refused to wait in line. Like if I'm at the ballpark and there's this beer stands or this food stand has my favorite food and that one doesn't, fuck it. I guess I'm getting a hot dog today. Did I want a cheesesteak? Yeah, but I'm gonna get a hot dog. Like, it's really limited.
He said, I don't know what I'm waiting in line for 3 hours. That's just ludicrous.
I never did the like wait in line for tickets to the movie that's coming out. I only started doing the midnight showing thing when it was like buy your ticket online and
you ever wait in line
seat
for the new Apple product or sneakers or anything?
Never once in my life.
Me either. I've never been a line waiter. I'm like you. If I want something at a ballpark and there's a shorter line, I'm just not waiting in line.
That's why I don't like amusement parks even. I don't like waiting in line for the rides. Like I'll go with my nephew and then do it, but it's like I'm not doing it willingly. Well,
even that, I don't want to wait in line for a roller coaster more than 30 minutes. Like that's probably my max. I don't do lines either. And to think 3 hours, like here's a prime example. What's that ice cream place on Abbott Kinney?
Yeah, I know the place you're talking about. Salt and Straw.
Salt and Straw.
I've waited in line there for 10 minutes.
But you know what I'm talking about. I have seen the line for that.
Yeah. And I've only, and my thing, that's good ice cream. And whenever I was in Venice and I was like, have a hankering, I would drive by. If there was a line, fuck it. If there's no line, I'd go in.
That's what I'm saying. Like 10 minutes is fine, but I would see that line at times, which I know would be 30 to 45 minutes. And it would blow my mind because there's so many ice cream spots around there. And I would say, who is waiting in line for 30 minutes for an ice cream cone? That is ludicrous to me.
honestly, I've been put off of a lot of things. Like the idea, remember, it's like, oh, we got to wait in line to get the newest video game. We got to wait in line to get the fucking Supreme shit. We got to wait in line to get the new fucking sneakers. Like, nah, I don't care that much. There's almost nothing. I can't think of anything. I can't think of anything that I will willingly wait in line for an hour for.
It's pretty tough. I can't off the top of my head either. I used to get anxiety. Do you remember how bad it was to enter LA Coliseum for the Rams games?
Yeah.
And I had tickets to that already. I used to get anxiety waiting in that line.
Well, that was the thing about that. That was the frustrating thing about doing that was you shouldn't even be waiting in this line. That's the frustrating. You're like, why am I waiting in line? I have a fucking ticket.
Yeah.
That's why I hate Southwest. Line up. How about just fucking call my fucking gate? Call my fucking section. Call my seat number.
But I would argue you're still waiting in line on the other airlines as well.
You're just sitting there waiting until they call your fucking section.
Dude, the people who line up early, and they do it on all the airlines, you're an asshole. You're just an asshole. The people who stand.
I'm running out of, I think at my age, and I've kind of always been this way. It's like, I'll go to this club if you're getting us in. I'll go to this bar if we're getting in for some reason.
You're not waiting. Yeah. I agree.
I mean, even the townhouse in fucking Venice for years had a line. Oh. It's like I'd go by if the crazy, Russian or whatever he was, UFC fighting lunatic that I know from the comedy shows was working the door, I would skip the line or I wouldn't go.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. I never got that. I mean, luckily,
we're like older than the age or younger than the age of like people who are like have to line up for like tickets or something. Like I would line up for like tickets if I wanted to see like a great concert, but that's like not even a thing anymore. You just buy them online and you fucking get your tickets and you go.
Yeah.
I love to be at a concert or a ballpark or whatever and have a beer, but like not just a line.
Well, that when I lived in Madrid for that semester abroad, that's what kept me out of so many nights, because Madrid is such a nightclub heavy city. And so many of the kids at our school, they'd be going to the nightclubs. And my buddies and I would say, dude, you're waiting in a line to go to a nightclub. The amount of bars on this same street where I can just walk right in and get a cold beer. Why?
I've been to plenty of nightclubs in my life, but it's always like, hey, man,
too.
we got this. We're going to go in here or show up at this time or this, blah, blah, blah. It's like, fine, I'll go if there's an in. Otherwise, fucking no way.
Yeah. All right, let's hop to another call.
What's going on, Dirty Sports? This is Hunter from Middle of Nowhere, Michigan. Just a quick question about your music listening habit. I think really the only two that I can think of would be album or playlist type of listeners. So obviously if you're a playlist listener, you're someone that just picks up random songs, throws them into a playlist based on genre or mood. And an album would be to pull whole albums when you're listening to your music going about your day. Myself, I'm more of a playlist guy, but I know that there's some people who like listening to full albums out there. And then part two of my question would be, when you are listening to a new album that you've never heard before, how important is it to listen to that album in order rather than on shuffle? Just a couple quick questions for you guys, and stay dirty.
I like it.
I'm going to answer a second question first. Why would you listen to an album on shuffle?
Yeah,
I've never listened to a full album. To it in order.
I never heard of that, especially for the first time.
And I will also add that there is a third option here that has not been discussed. That is something that I do a lot, but I would say that I float between the three pretty evenly these days. My whole life, I was an album guy. I wasn't a like put together a mix on CDs guy. Let's listen to the full album, then let's pick another album and let's do that. Now, in the age of digital music, playlists have obviously become a thing. I have many playlists. I listen to playlists often, for sure, depending on my mood, genres of music. No doubt about it. I listen to a lot of playlists. I still listen to a lot of albums. If I get in my head that I want to listen to some artist, I will be like, oh, I want to listen to that artist. Let's listen to this whole album. Let's listen to this whole album. The third thing I do, and it's more and more prevalent these days, I will have an artist or song in my mind, like a vibe I'm feeling. I'll be like, okay, you know what? What I want to listen to right now is Tom Petty's I Won't Back Down. Very specific. So I'll put that on, and then I'll create station, and I'll let it go and see where it takes me.
Yeah, I'm definitely more of a playlist. And at this point, like Spotify just does everything for me. It's pretty pathetic. So based on the other playlists that I've made, you know, they curate their versions or whatever. So like when I get in my car, it'll list 5 playlists that I've never made. So it could be a combination of rap, soul, rock, whatever it is that I've been listening to, or I've listened to the last how many years I've been on Spotify. And outside of workout mixes, I don't really make that many. I just let Spotify curate what I like, which is kind of crazy to think about that, right? Like they know me.
Yeah. The only time I let any of that happen is like I'll create station around a song. And then also like I'll do, if I have an artist, instead of doing an album, sometimes I'll go, I'm more of an Apple Music guy than a Spotify guy. I kind of bounce back between both, but I'm way more Apple Music. If I'm feeling an artist in the moment, I'll go there and I'll go like essentials. You know, oh, let's listen to, the band Essentials.
Sure. That's Spotify's version of This Is. Like This Is the band, and it would play like their 30 best. Okay, so here's the call about me and my sniffling, but there's a
You just
prelude.
did it. Did you do it on purpose?
No. There's a prelude to it.
Hey, Prano. Hey, Ruther. This is Nathan, your #1 Wisconsin DirtBall. Calling in because I got 2 things to say. I'll keep it brief. The first one, we're talking about sex moves and Urban Dictionary. I've always known the one that you guys are calling the one where she's on her knees and she's jerking off 2 guys on either side of her. I've always known that as the skier, the Olympic skier, because jerking off 2 dudes with either hand is like ski poles when you're doing like the downhill slalom skiing or whatever you call it. So that I've always known that as the skier. And my personal favorite is the angry dragon, which is when the guy comes in her mouth so deep that it comes back out through her nose. And it's like a dragon breathing fire or something like that. So that's my personal favorite. I think that one's pretty hot. And then the second thing is, Ruther, your constant sniffling on air is kind of annoying. I think you should patch that up. You should fix that up. Not very professional of a podcaster. So, well, thanks so much for the pod, boys. Again, it's always a good time. Stay dirty.
Okay, the sniffling I'll work on.
What he doesn't realize is that these two are combined. A lot of time, Andy is just has some cum stuck in his nose. Doing the angry dragon.
I've heard of the angry dragon.
And the ski poles, that's when they're behind you, right?
Yeah. Well, he messed up. I don't think you listened, Nathan, closely enough last episode. The clumsy pelican is when she's going down on somebody while she's jerking 2 dudes off. Again, making this motion like a clumsy pelican. The skier, exactly. She's on a couch between 2 guys skiing. Have I been a part of a ski thing? Yes, I have.
Oh, no. You and Cutter?
I'm not saying names.
Jeez.
A gentleman does not tell who he went. A gentleman does not tell who he went skiing with.
Hey, you want to go skiing again? Yeah.
I think back to some of the stuff I did. I'm like, oh my God. Somebody told me yesterday that I was a really good person, and I just laughed. I mean, it was a nice compliment, but I just said, you don't even know. Somebody who doesn't know me that well. I said, you don't know half of it.
Well, you could say now.
I mean, again, it's a weird, I don't think it's a weird thing to say this. I'm like, oh, you're a good person. And I'm just like, have you ever gone skiing? The angry dragon. That's unbelievable. It goes back to your point. None of these things have happened.
Yeah. I just want from now on, anytime anybody hears Andy sniffle on the podcast, I just want you to think of doing the angry dragon here.
I like that. I like that idea. Okay, you want to put in one more call?
One more. Let's do it.
Let's do it.
How you doing, Andy? Number one dirt baller, Stephen Dermer, calling from South Bend, Indiana. I was just curious to see what you guys would think of. Obviously, all these teams and have such different jerseys and comparisons and which colors and how many colors. But I kind of think it's cool how, like Pittsburgh, all of their teams are black and yellow or some variation of that. Would that be something you'd like to see a lot more with different other teams and cities? Kind of get your opinion. Thanks, guys.
It is pretty unique how Pittsburgh has that with their three teams.
Like that. I do like that.
I do too.
I mean, in New York, Mets, Knicks, Islanders are blue and orange. They get close, but
True.
that's a mixed bag of things. Obviously, there's so many other teams in New York with, all the other sports and blah, 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 blah. But like, I always thought that was cool. And it's like, it makes you like, I can go to a Knicks game and wear Knicks gear and wear a Mets hat.
Yeah.
It makes it all work.
Sure.
I like it. I wish it was more,
common.
Like more of a thing. Yeah. But I get it. Especially these days, you're like trying to, brand your team and you're trying to like be a thing, but like it would be cool.
Yeah.
But good for Pittsburgh for doing it.
You're right. It does work out. If you're at a Penguins game, you can be rocking the other two teams' gear.
Yeah.
So it definitely works out. And obviously, I assume they purposely did that.
Yeah, I'm sure.
310-359-8365. That's the hotline. We got some more calls we'll get to next week and drop a call. And by the way, if I don't play your call, it's competition is getting good, Joe.
Yeah.
Like that's the thing. I'm going to play. I curate it. Ones I think are going to be interesting. And I think we've had a lot of interesting non-sports calls with sports calls as well, but try not to take it too personally. I don't want anybody getting all bent out of shape.
Going full Richard Sherman.
I was going to make, I was ready to make that joke and then I didn't because I was trying to show a little empathy, but hey, you're in the Stephen A.
With angry calls to 911. You know what I mean?
Well, he didn't call 911.
I know.
Follow us on Twitter and Instagram at The Dirty Sports. And there was something I was going to try to say about social. I don't remember. Anyway, that's it for me.
At Joe Prano on all things social media, except for Twitter, at Fix Your Life. Follow me, especially on Instagram. That's where there'll be show updates. We got some shows getting ready to be booked in New York while I'm there. I'll be there July 20th to August 1st. Already got some shows lined up. One in Brooklyn. Looks like there'll be one at the Stand toward the end of my trip. There's another one in the middle. So stay on my Instagram and at joeprano.com for shows. Getting ready. This might be a little bit early. Let's say next episode, getting ready to announce a show for the fall in a new city where I've never performed before. And hopefully in an area that's, new for dirt. Like, I think it's going to be the closest that we've gotten to certain dirt balls. So, when I drop that one, maybe a dirt ball meetup of sorts. It's a good place for, it's a good place when we announce these shows for people to come and drink in the streets, and party, eat a po' boy or two,
Wow. That's a nug, little nug. The no chill nug right there. All right, guys.
New city, Andy, a new one.
Home of your favorite quarterback as well.
Home of your favorite quarterback.
And your favorite quarterback's burner account.
Yes.
All those things. All right, guys, that is our show for today. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for the support.